Welcome back to the series on spirit guides and animal spirit companions. My name is Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you for continuing to listen to these clips where I channel through the soul that is Katische Haberfield in this incarnation. You have heard how the many animals in her lifetime have contributed to her karmic emotional healing. I didn't put in the words karmic emotional, I just said healing, but that's interesting how the conscious mind interprets what it has learned from the other videos and then inserts it into her conscious, rational, logical thinking mind. So, in this video or audio, however you are listening to it or consuming it, we are going to talk about the role of animal spirit guides. You know that in the other videos I have already told you that your pets become your animal spirit guides once they return to the light, to home. To be honest with you, they appear to me when I see them communicating with you exactly as you would remember them in their best light, much like a spirit who you speak to through a medium appears to you. The human dresses in their best dress or outfit, and the medium will see them the way that they want to be remembered. However, you in your own mind's eye will see them how you most fondly remember them. So sometimes the visual that the medium gets actually is slightly different to the way that your mind interprets it. That's just perspective. And this is important for you to understand because you have one perspective on your life and your pet has another perspective. This Katische already explained in a previous video, which, heck, I don't know whether it's on the podcast or just on the YouTube. She's got so many, it's not funny. But there's one there somewhere that she talks about the realization that she thought she wasn't a kind parent to her dog Ollie. Yes, it was Ollie, not Bunny. They're so similar. And she was told that the purpose of the pet's incarnation was to help her, not the other way around, so she could reduce her guilt. That was the truth. We always think that we are supposed to be the carers, yet there is a balance between the lifetimes that we incarnate as a carer or as somebody who needs to be provided for. Okay, Katische just rolled her eyes because we have been trying to teach her how to be provided for in this lifetime. She resists extremely hard to the spiritual lesson of being provided for. She constantly pushes away things that people give her and gets offended quite a lot about gifts because she believes that she should have been able to earn them or provide for herself. But I digress. This is about spirit guides, and this is what the spirit guides teach us or try to help you understand. That in their spiritual incarnations, meaning the times that they are not incarnated, so that can be confusing for you, but they are coming to communicate with you or are around you in your energy field to provide service to you. In the spirit form, they are in service of you, even if they have been in service of you in their incarnated animal form on Earth or other locations. Just had to throw that in because you humans fail to recognize that you've been on other locations other than Earth and in other dimensions, but that's a whole book. I hope she writes that book, but is she brave enough? Well, here we go. Back to the spirit guides. I digress again. You can see we have a lot to talk about. So the spirit guide that I wish to talk to you about that Katische needs to learn more about today is the spirit guide. In her mind, she's going, which one is it going to be? She's trying to rationalize and she's trying to push the thought away because she likes to pretend to be more knowledgeable than the archangels, but she's not. She's stubborn like that, isn't she? She doesn't like to be told anything in life, but here we go. The animal spirit guide is the Sphinx? Correct. That took a while, didn't you? Sphinx, because that long pause, I actually did say in her mind, I'll let you press pause so that you appear more knowledgeable than you are. You see, the Sphinx is a mythical creature, but it's also a type of cat, which she discovered the other day. They are quite ugly in her mind. Very skinny, no fur, which would help with her drone issues at the moment. But anyway, hair gets into everything. Sphinx has no hair. It's kind of fierce looking, and it's got, you can see the rolls of fat, even though they're not fat. It's a bit like a skinny supermodel has rolls of fat that are just the natural shape of the body. They're not actually fat. They're just, your body rolls that way. It's not a piece of cardboard. Back to the Sphinx. So the Sphinx is a mythical creature, but also the ancient Egyptians had their worship of the feline race through what many of you know as the... Okay, getting a really big block here. The race that you know as the furry ones. Oh dear. They're just called the felines. Correct, thank you. The felines. Your mind sometimes tries to complicate things more than you understand. So that's why we made her do that, because the Sphinx comes from a race called the felines. She was starting to think about the Hathors. And interestingly, now that she has started to use her eyes closed in this channel rather than her eyes open, the message is coming through clearly, or more clearer, because she does not have the logical mind which is trying to visualize the words as if I was speaking to her, or as if she was reading to me from reading my message in a book or a text message. So the felines are a race from another dimension, although technically you could say that it's another planet, but we would beg to differ. You tend to think Mars is another planet, but I would call it another dimension. But I digress. Okay, the felines. Her brain just went, The felines were here to help the Egyptians with their vocalization of vibrational sounds. As you know, the pyramids were primarily used for, she doesn't want to say out loud, space landing and communication and storage of secret and hidden documents, but there we go, we said it. But also the vibration of sound for healing and emission of messages into the Milky Way, the galaxy that you call it or live within. So as you know, and Katische calls it Purr therapy, cats vibrate through their throat chakra, which is what Katische is working out over time right now, her throat chakra. And the throat chakra is important for communication and vibrational healing of things which we have not been able to communicate in lifetimes. Dysfunctions in thyroid, for example, have to do with inability to communicate one's truth. So the purpose of the Egyptians' involvement with the feline race, which you call the Sphinx, was specifically to help the Egyptians communicate the oral history and the traditions that were destroyed by other civilizations, or that they destroyed from civilizations that they replaced or were on the similar land. So they had a karmic responsibility to transmit the oral history into the this is where it links into one of her podcasts again, into the into the crystal skulls that stored the information, but also into the crystals that lay in the earth. so that even if the crystal skulls, and Katische particularly hates crystal skulls, her friend Cindy will confirm this, the crystal skulls were destroyed or lost on civilization, then their knowledge would be contained in the pink or red Lemurian crystals, which would be inserted or implanted or stored vibrationally in the earth. That is why if you pick up a real Lemurian crystal, you can actually see the outline of these sacred messages, and in some cases you can see the outline of the person who is working on transmitting these sacred messages. Katisha's actually seen beings trapped in these kind of like a skeleton or a fossil. These are indeed the holographic transmission of a message that she was intended to receive, as only the receiver can detect the holographic image of the encoder or transmitter or storer of the knowledge in the Lemurian crystal. So don't go rushing out there to get your Lemurian crystal to get a message. If you are meant to see the message, you will get it. Doesn't mean you're any less special or beautiful or don't have a place on this earth. It's just that we all have specific things to do, and this is one of the roles that has helped her get to this point. Okay, so the felines, as you said, vibrational Purr therapy, and if you have your pets and you place them on your chest or they sit somewhere strange on your body, generally speaking, they are vibrationally trying to heal that position. So Purr therapy is indeed a thing. No need to trademark the name. If you hear this message, then go get a cat. Heal your body or your mind or your voice or all of the above. Okay, right, now, so I think that is about all we need to tell you about the felines today. Katische, what has this got to do with Katisha's connection to spirit guides? So therefore, can we reveal that? Max, her cat, was her... She keeps wanting to say guardian angel, but we know that's not true. Guardian. Oh, right, yes. Guardian when she was below the Sphinx, encoding the sacred knowledge, which you will have to go and listen to that podcast episode, and good luck finding it. But if you're meant to find it, you will find it. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Yeah, so yes, Max the cat sat on the mat outside the Sphinx. What a good cat. Okay, so Max the cat incarnated back then to help her encode and store the wisdom, and he has incarnated as a pet right now to help her retrieve that information. So you can see it's a dual incarnation responsibility, whereby he is in service to her to help her access this lost information that she made lost on purpose, so that when the time was right, the teachings could be revealed. So the time is right to reveal the teachings on the spirit guides and spirit animals, because this is critical for humanity, because you guys ignore them so often by thinking from childhood that imaginary friends aren't real. But hey, there's that new movie that came out, so that's a first step forward. They are real, and sometimes they are spirit guides, sometimes they are spirit animals, sometimes they are angels. But start tuning into the impossible, start believing in the impossible, and you'll be amazed at the knowledge that comes through. The feline race wishes to acknowledge and thank you for listening to this transmission. They only ever endeavour to be in service to humanity, and they are pleased that you now understand that their vibrational purr is more than just a mechanism of sounding happy, that there is a specific energy healing. If you could see it, yes, Katische, it would be the colour green, it would be the green ray, it would be linked to Archangel Raphael. For those who are fastidious students of colours, colour therapy, and of the angels. We, the felines, thank Archangel Zadkiel for letting us interrupt this transmission momentarily, just simply so that we could say, we understand that the Sphinx has been misunderstood and people have thought it was a lion. But the thing you need to understand about animals, and in particular interplanetary beings, or interdimensional beings, whichever you may like it to be, is that they take on the form that is least frightening to the person who is perceiving their energy. So to some, they will argue black and blue to you that it was a lion or something like that. To others, they will argue for the Sphinx. But we are here to tell you that the energy, regardless of the form that it displays on the planet Earth, is from the vibration of the feline. It's a rather distinct energy signature. And as you learn more about spirit guides, you will learn that each type of animal has a different energy signature and vibration, which is very specific and designed for a specific reason. So thank you once again, Zadkiel. Back to you, buddy. Okay. All right, we will leave it there for today. There's plenty enough for you to digest. Namaste, as she would say. Wow, that was big.